The biggest fear of baby boomers today is the fear of outliving your money.
This is Retirement Reimagined with Tracie Lampson.
Tracie, hello. How are you today?
Great.
So I know that you just put in a zip line at your house.
You know, I had absolutely no desire, no interest. My husband, from the very beginning when we were looking out here, because it was nothing but trees, I'm going to put in a zip line. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, the grandkids will like that. But we've been building a RV shed, you know, he shed, she shed, and a home office for me. So I wasn't concerned about spending money on a zip line until he got the box in that had the zip line and stuff in it and started putting it up. And I'm like, ooh, that looks fun. It is amazing. And every weekend it's become like a resort here. Everybody, all the family want to come, and all my girlfriends. And so we have a great time and ride the zip line.
A long way to come from a 29-year-old widow.
Absolutely. I sometimes have to pinch myself and, you know, is this real? Because my life is, I don't have any complaints. I'm abundantly blessed.
This has also come with a lot of hard work. Nobody handed you anything, you know, and that's why I love your story. I love the fact that you were in that rut. Like we've talked about, you were the paycheck to paycheck type person, didn't have anything and didn't know what you could do.
I mean, you know, I grew up, my, you know, dad worked at Shell Oil for 38 years. So, you know, everybody in my family were in Houston. Everybody's in oil and gas, basically. Still, my husband became a victim of the oil crash of 87. He was vice president of a company, Wayne, who passed away. Then, you know, came hard times. So we scrimped. We lived paycheck to paycheck. I had just gone to work 6 months earlier because it was very important for me to stay home with my kids. I wanted my kids to be raised by me. You know, I don't know, now we can have that discussion again, whether that was the best decision, me or daycare, but that was very important to me. And I had just gone back to work 6 months before, you know, I got the phone call to come to the hospital to identify your dead husband because his wallet was in his ice chest in the seat and not on him on the way to work. Oh. I've been there. I'm not better than anybody. I've been at the bottom, and I'm pretty comfortable and get to enjoy life. We've made a, you know, haven here in the woods where people can come and enjoy, you know, our blessings, and we have room for everybody. And I love it. Life couldn't be better.
I mean, to think where you've come from to where you are now, you can help people achieve that. And we're going to go through on this podcast, and we're going to kind of break some things down into layman's terms for people on how you can help them and how they can help themselves.
Right. Absolutely. You know, like I told you previously, you know, my mother read Dr. Spock, which the doctor said not to. She was in bed with me for 6 months. And, you know, the Dr. Spock says, don't let your kids' first words be no. If if they break a lamp, you say, oh, this is a, you know, lamp and we don't do this. So what it caused was, because I had 4 older brothers and sisters, they didn't even think I was going to talk. I was going to go to school with my binky and running, you know, and pointing for everything that I wanted. But I'm 53 and I don't take no. Where there's a will, there's a way. So we're going to figure out a way, either in this instance to protect ourselves or to come back, or us, you know, that bad information where we paid $167,000 in taxes one year. That's when I put my foot down and said, never again. Never will anybody, you know, get one over on me or lead me in a direction that I haven't done my homework first.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we're going to do sort of different lessons. So what do you want to talk about today?
You know, what I think is a great thing to discuss is that cookie cutter plans. We were with financial advisors that, you know, came to Exxon and put on the retirement seminars and we had huge binders, 3-ring binders of information. I still have them. Nowhere in there do I remember seeing anything that talked about protecting your assets, because the biggest fear of baby boomers today is the fear of outliving your money. Years ago, I would see a handful of clients a year that had someone, a family member in their 90s. Now, on a weekly, if not daily basis, do I see, clients or prospects who have not one person in their family that's 90 plus, but normally a few. I have one client who her mother is like 102 and her aunt is 104, and they're still driving. I'm like, in Houston? No, they're in a little town in Tennessee, but people are living longer. And so we've got to have something that's going to give us the safety of not outliving our money. In the market, your money can drop in a nanosecond. So yesterday's investment strategies do not work in today's times, just like COVID. My granddaughter's here today, and my husband's in the other room on her Zoom meeting for first grade. And I go, walking through the room, and I hear this teacher's trying to teach these kids. They can't even focus on that. How are they going to do this? But we are now doing school virtually. So what worked in the past, just because it worked for our parents, doesn't mean it's going to work for us. One example is compare interest rates. When interest rates were 14 to 16% and they're now near zero, there's your sign. It's not going to work. What worked in the past is not what's going to work in the future.
That's a great point, because think about when you and I were in college to where we are now. Like, my son sent me a picture of, he's like, first day of classes, and it's just him looking at a screen.
My niece's picture has her mask on. And this morning I took a picture of Lily's second day of school, and she's standing at the table in her pajamas, about to do her Zoom meeting. So things have changed. Don't think the finances are any different. Risk today it's with the speed at which information travels. Again, you got to think back to 2000 when internet and .com and all of that was just starting. Oprah could tweet out that she lost 26 pounds on Weight Watchers. And you do that in the year 2000, and it may take a few weeks for Weight Watchers stock to increase. You do that in 2005, and Weight Watchers increases by $12 million in an hour. So that's why if you look historically at, the market on a graph, you can see that historically in the 80s and prior, it never drastically changed more than, say, 35 points. Because their news wasn't traveling at the rate or at the speed at which it does today. So there's no perfect investment vehicle, and it's all about risk and reward. And there's no cookie cutter recipe, because I'm 53 and my husband's 67, and we came into our marriages each with 2 kids. There's no cookie cutter recipe. We still have our own opinions and our own fears and our own situations that we want tailored for our account. We didn't save money and work hard to just be put in with a group of other people, and no one ever asked us even about our family history as far as health. Why would we look for or plan for 30 years down the road if we've been diagnosed with terminal cancer? So it's not just about sitting down and putting your money here, there. This sounds like a good idea. You have this many kids. It's about a conversation and getting to know people and what their greatest fears are. I mean, I believe that my fears need to be my priority in my financial investment strategy.
You talk a lot about the ABCs of investing. So why don't you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so I believe everybody needs 3 types of money. Red, yellow, green. It's hard to say yellow, green, red. It just doesn't sound right, does it? But I've got to, put it in here like this. So I believe red, yellow, green. But what percentage of each that you need is specific to your own situation and your own fears. I may need, 50% in yellow cash, where you may need only 10%. There is no right or wrong for this. It's you make it to meet your specific situation. As you know, there is no perfect investment vehicle. If we look at the different investment vehicles that there are, for everything we choose, we're going to give up something. There's a pro and a con to everything. Yes, in the market, mutual funds, stocks, things like that, we can receive our highest gains, but guess what? We can receive lots of loss just as quickly, if not, quicker. I think we notice the loss a lot more than we do the gains. So what we have to decide is what's important. What risk do you want to take in order to receive that reward? In retirement, when your paycheck stops, is it worth the risk to possibly make 30% that year on that investment versus, say, a safe investment where you may earn 15%? You would probably pick the 30%, right? So far.
Right, sure.
Okay. But what happens next year if the market tanks like 2008, let's just say 38%, and you lose 38%? Yet the one over here where you earned 15%, you stayed flat. You still have that 15% because once that's been credited to your account, you can never go backwards. So you don't make anything, but zero now becomes your hero because
you didn't lose anything.
You didn't lose. Yes. It takes away those sleepless nights. So that's where I go back to everyone needs same type of money. Think of your assets as a big stack of cash in front of you, and you're going to color a portion of it yellow, you're going to color a portion of it green, and you're going to color a portion of it red. Now, what we get for our yellow money, this is our cash, our liquidity. We need normally at least 6 months of emergency funds, and probably people may tell you even a little more here lately. I always say 6 months to a year. Again, depending on your situation, what's going on in your life, and do you have other avenues, where you could get cash from. But what are you going to give up? So the reward is that you have money, you're available, or you have access to your cash 24 hours a day. The not so reward, or what you give up, are gains. So in this category, you're going to earn, maybe 1%. Max 2%. So this is not our category that we're looking to, live off of in the future, unless we just have so many millions we can put in here and never have to worry.
That's again. Just the need now money.
Exactly. Or emergency. Okay. Then we're going to go to our protected growth. For green money, this is money and there's rules. We have green money rules. Rule number 1 is protect your principal. Rule number 2, protect your gains. Rule number 3, protect your income. This is when I talk to people. We've saved all of this money. We have these big bags of money that we've got at retirement. What do you do with them? What is your plan? Because if your plan is to dig into that bag of money until it's dry, who knows when that will happen? If it's based or if it's volatile against market index, loss or gains. So in this category, we want to make sure that our principal cannot be lost. We can have tax deferred. So basically we're earning money that if it wasn't tax deferred and we had to pay short or long-term capital gains, we're having to pay money out. Now we're saving the tax deferral and we're earning money on that as well. So it's like a triple compounding, like you're earning on top of earnings. But with this, what we give up, so we have our money protected, but what we give up is liquidity. We don't have access to 100% of it. It's all about give and take. In this protected or in our green money, if your principal is at risk and can go below zero due to circumstances beyond your control, then it's not green money. Now you go to the risk category. That's your stocks market, where you can make 30% in a day, but you also can lose 30% in a day. So here in the red category, sometimes clients will say, where do I start? Well, there's a few things I can tell you. Think about, where's your comfort level? What gives you peace of mind? Think of your assets. Think of your portfolio. What portion of that are you comfortable with losing? should 2008